Hi, friends. Welcome to Tabletop tonight. My name is Ruel Gaviola, joined by my good friend Amanda McKnight, and this is Words on Wednesday. What is Words on Wednesday? Glad you asked, Ruel. Words on Wednesday is a bi-weekly show where Amanda and I get together to talk about comic books and play word-based games, and we're so excited to be doing this. And Amanda, we've been talking about this for a few months now, and we finally got to meet in person at PAX Unplugged in Philly back in December. And we had a really good time. We hung out, had some dim sum, and ironed out the plans here. And Amanda, do you want to share a little bit about your story of you are doing top 10 nerd videos and whatnot. I mean, how long you've been doing it, and what got you into the whole content creation thing here?
Yeah. So, well, I'm an actor, so I love performing. And I guess what got me into it, like, I basically saw an ad online for people were looking for content creators for Top
Nice.
10 Nerd. I auditioned for it. I had no idea what the audition was going to be like. I was so nervous going to it because I was like, I don't know, this is for YouTube. It could be in a professional setting, it could be in someone's basement. I don't know what this will be. And I went, and it was super professional. It is done by a professional studio. So a lot of people think there are a lot of people that think I own Top 10 Nerd because I've been on it for years. I do not own that channel. I just work there. I'm just a host, just
Nice.
a meager host, which means that I do write all of the things that I say, but also we do use a teleprompter. So obviously I don't memorize all of my own scripts, although I am the person writing them. So I'm usually familiar with the words that are coming up on the screen.
Mhm.
And I work in a professional film studio doing that. And that's kind of how I got into it. And I've always been into really nerdy things, like sci-fi
Nice.
stuff, fantasy, superhero things.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really super into comics, but I did read a lot. And when I was a little kid, would read big novels. So I was that kind of child that would go back and forth between being in front of everybody and performing and dancing around, and
Yeah.
then hiding in a corner to read a big book. So
So cool.
starting that job is kind of what got me into comics, because I loved superhero cartoons from a very young age and loved watching the original 60s Spider-Man cartoon. I used to stay up late and watch it on
Yeah.
retro TV.
Yeah,
It was
I
so
remember
good.
that. The one that has the
So
Spider-Man
corny
theme.
but so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it? The Spider-Man.
The
Spider-Man.
animation
Yeah.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can.
Da-da-da.
Yeah.
Oh,
Didn't you know that?
awesome.
Yeah. So that was kind of how I got into doing comics content creation. And then I've
Mhm.
always loved board games, and I used to work at Snakes and Lattes,
Yes.
teaching board games as a game guru,
Hmm.
among other things that I did there. And then basically someone that used to work there, my friend Sean, he needed people to help teach board games for Come On. And so we did that. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, are we having a raid right now? Whoa,
Oh,
what just
yeah.
happened?
Oh my gosh. Hi, Raiders. Welcome. Welcome, friends.
Woo!
Thank you, Maple Conrad, for the raid. Appreciate it. Folks, thank you for joining us. We are doing Words on Wednesday today. This is where Amanda and I talk about comic books. We're
Woo!
going to play games. And thank you so much, Conrad, for the raid. Let me know in chat what you've been up to. Welcome, Bonzinator, and hello, Kitty Cat and friends. Good to see y'all. Hang out with us. Let's talk comic
Hello!
books. Let's talk comic books. Let's talk games. And we're getting to know Amanda McKnight a little better right now. She's telling our story about how she got into this whole thing, and she's been a game guru at Steaks and Lattes, which I still, it's still on my bucket list of places to go, Steaks and Lattes. I would love to visit one of
Oh
these
yeah,
days.
I would
Yeah,
I would happily go with you, especially if I mean they have multiple locations now, but if you're ever in Toronto, we should totally go and play some games. It's
absolutely.
still a place that I go to as a guest and love.
Nice.
But yeah, I've always been into board games. I've played board games ever since I was a kid. I tried to do a weekly board game night with my family.
Oh,
I think I'm
cool.
the most enthusiastic board gamer in my family, but my family loves me, so they'll still be like, "Okay, we'll play this game with you."
Yeah,
Um,
totally same here. I'm the big game nerd in my family as well. Want to
yeah.
shout out Gator Dave. Hello, Gator Dave, and friends on YouTube watching this. We record this live on Twitch, so what we're doing is, we have our friends raiding us from another channel, and we're hanging out here, having a good time. So
Great,
thank you again
great.
for hanging out with us. Yeah, so Amanda and I, we got to know each other through our work together at Renegade Game Studios, where
That's
Amanda,
right.
you're a host there as well, right?
Yeah, so I basically went to demo for Come On, CMON they were known then. Now Come
Hmm.
On I think is what they prefer,
Okay.
and demoed for them a few times through my friend Sean, who used to work at Snakes but didn't at the time that he recruited some of us, and knew
Hmm.
some other people that I worked with that basically got me in. And then after that, I wasn't demoing for Come On and I wanted to still demo. And I reached out to Renegade because I heard they were really awesome to demo for.
Yeah.
And then I was basically introduced through my friend Daryl Andrews to everyone there. And they were like, oh, Amanda also makes content. Like, you guys should get her to make some content for you.
Yeah.
And then that is what happened. So it was very cool
Nice.
that I was asked to do that. And I love working for Renegades, so
Yeah.
it's been a dream for me.
Yeah, they're a really great company to work for. I had
They really are.
through other connections as well. I'd gotten hooked up where I could, I started live streaming games with them, and then we met. We I think we did a thing together. I think we did the Gudetama tournament. Do you
We
remember
did
that?
the Gudetama tournament. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was so much fun. At I think at RenCon,
yeah,
online digital,
yeah,
and then yeah, and that was just like a blast. And then I think after that, you were like, you should come on my show and like we should play. Then we played Wingspan, which that was also
yeah.
my first time playing Wingspan, and I'm like obsessed with it now. So
It's so
that's your
good.
fault, Ruel. Just so you know, I blame you for that.
You know what? I brought you to the world of Wingspan. You're bringing me back to the world of comic books because I haven't. I love
Yes.
comic books. I read them a lot as a kid. And then, like a lot of us, life happens and you just sort of forget about certain things. But I've been able to start coming back to comic books lately. And that's why I'm really thrilled to be working with you because I know you were like the one. If I'm going to talk about comic books, you are the one I need to talk to. So thank you
Thank
again for doing this.
you.
I do want to say
Yes,
Victoria Rogers, we also worked with Victoria Rogers
we
at
did.
Renegade, which was great. She was such a great person to work with. And I'm so thrilled to be playing her game today. Wonderful, wonderful person. But hey, Amanda, why don't we talk about some comic books here? We read a few,
Yeah.
friends. So there's a ton out there, but the first one we're going to talk about today, friends, is Scarlet Witch, and I'm so glad you picked this one because I am new to the world of Scarlet Witch. I remember reading, she's been in a bunch of comics I've read back in the day, but she was never like
Mhm.
the central focus. I never read anything focused totally on her. And then,
Yeah,
of
that was
course,
just Wanda. Yeah.
right. And then, of course, WandaVision came out, what, two years ago or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to know more about this character. That show was crazy good. It was brilliant.
It's
I,
so
I
good.
just,
And I
yeah,
love that the show brought you into it like that, being like, I need to read more about Wanda. Like, that
yeah,
is the magic of the MCU to me. And like, there's some comic book fans that I feel like have opinions where they feel like the MCU like ruins the hobby or something. And I'm like, nah, man, it's just bringing in more people to
yeah,
like some characters that maybe they would have never picked up a comic that was like just on them. And it also allows us to highlight some of those characters so that they can actually have solo series.
yep.
That being said, I think this Scarlet Witch comic is maybe Wanda's fourth volume, somewhere
Hmm.
around there. So she has had a few before, but
Yep.
they do tend to usually, I think, be pretty short lived. I don't think
Okay.
Wanda's had a very I don't think she's had a lot of comics that were like really long runs.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we're living in the modern day of comics, so most comics are not long runs anymore because everyone
Right.
wants to sell those issue ones
Yeah.
because that's how comics make money and
Yep.
that's how collectors can potentially take something and put it in a box and be like,
Yeah.
maybe one day this one will be the one, you know?
Right. Right. All the variant
Yeah.
covers and everything and whatnot. Are you a big collector in that sense, Amanda, or are you just like, hey, I'm
Oh
just gonna,
no. I mean,
okay.
I have a lot of comics at this point, and I have too many comics to be honest with you.
Yep.
I have too many books in general, and too many board games,
Yeah.
and too many. I'm now starting to kind of get a little bit back into Magic as well, which I
Oh
feel like is
boy.
also going to be a problem.
Yeah.
but um, but yeah, I do have a lot, but I actually hate. I don't hate collectors. I shouldn't say that. That's
Yeah.
not very nice, but I get slightly frustrated with collectors because they
Yeah.
tend to always want to collect things that I am in the middle of reading.
Yeah.
And then I go to my like local comic shop, my LCS, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm supposed to get this comic." And then it's like, "Oh, that comic's gone
Oh no.
because everyone came in because this person was on the cover." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, but I wanted to read that." So those people are getting it to just put it in a bag, put it on a shelf. Probably never
Yeah.
gonna read it because it'll reduce the value of the comic. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to read it.
I know, right? And
So,
that's I
yeah,
hear you. That sort of drives me crazy too. Like, it's the collector mentality versus the reader or the fan mentality, right? It's like,
yeah,
yeah, you're gonna get it and put it in a slab and get it graded and just gonna it's gonna sit there. But I'm like, I just want to read the darn thing, you know? It's like,
I know.
yeah,
So it like robs me of like there's been a few series where like I don't have complete collections of them because it was too hard for me to get certain issues because they
yeah,
became super collectible,
hmm,
which was frustrating. But that being said, I will say when I was at San Diego Comic Con last year, I
uh-huh,
was looking for a particular issue that I found that
okay,
I did buy just to collect, but I already owned the issue. I just really wanted, and
yeah,
it was what we call a virgin cover, but I prefer to say a textless cover because I feel like that's a weird terminology.
right,
But it just means yeah, it just means a cover that's just the art, so there's no text on it.
yeah,
And it was this one of Madeline Pryor, and she's sitting in this throne, and I just
cool,
loved that cover. So I already owned the comic, but I was like, I'm gonna get another one because I just want this cover.
right,
But I think other than that, there's like that and maybe like two more issues. Other than that, I
okay,
really try to not collect. I just
yeah,
I just read them and probably read them to the point in some cases that they're very abused. They're not going to be worth anything
yeah,
except
exactly.
to me,
Right.
emotional value.
Right, right. Yeah, I've got like a small box in the closet somewhere, you know, the comics that I really love, but each one of
Oh,
them,
I love
it's like,
that.
yeah, they're just like, you know, totally thumbed through and everything. And I did have some of the, like, I did a little bit of the collecting way back in the day. And this, I'm going to date myself, but like the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the like
Oh,
some of those
yeah.
odd size ones, like, I'm not gonna lie, I made a nice little pretty penny off of those. But I eventually sold those because I mean, yes, they had sentimental value, but at the same time, they were just sitting there, and I'd like, you know, if another collector wants it, that's cool. And I ended up using that money to buy a bunch of board games, so it worked out in the end.
It worked
But
out. Yeah.
yeah,
And
but
also,
then
I mean, the nice thing about TMNT is that it's always going to be good. So like
yeah,
I think anytime you also want to jump back into Teenage
yeah,
Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's just good. It's just good. Every
oh
time I've
totally.
ever popped in, I'm like, still good, still great.
Yeah, yeah, still a great comic. And you know what I did too with some of like my older X-Men and Spider-Man comics that I eventually sold off. I just ended up getting trade paperbacks, you know, because I can still enjoy the, you know, story and, you know, in a format, you know, trade, you know, graphic novel format. I don't have to worry about, you know, bending the page too much or whatever like that. So still a way to enjoy the stories.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's a good way to do it as well. And when people are like, I don't know, I want to read comics, but like there's so many issues. I'm like, honestly, trades are a great way to get in because you kind of
Yeah.
get a complete story.
Yep.
So that way it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like I only got a chapter and I don't know what I'm reading. I don't know
Right.
what's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. So, Scarlet Witch number one. Let's kick things off here on Words on Wednesday. This is the
Yes.
first comic we're going to be talking about together. And, you know, again, I'm really stoked to be talking about this because, you know, WandaVision really got me into the character. But you have actually
Same.
cosplayed many times as a Scarlet Witch, correct?
I have. Yeah, I
Nice.
love cosplaying as Wanda. I'm actually probably going to be doing like my first ever 8-hour stream. I'm going to be doing a cosplay stream because my
Whoa.
community helped. Yeah, an 8-hour cosplay stream. My community helped me to gather funds to get my computer, which I
Hmm.
have now instead of
Oh,
just streaming on
cos.
my laptop.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so I wanted to do something cool. So I'm going to be doing giveaways and stuff. And I feel like I need to dress as Wanda because it has become like easily one of my favorite cosplays to do.
Nice.
But yeah, I love Scarlet Witch, so I'm really happy we get to read this one because
Yeah.
I also made a New Year's resolution to read other than one comic.
Uh,
All of my other pull list right now is all indie comics to challenge
oh, okay.
my reading. So
Yeah.
myself and my partner are doing that together to really see if we can expand a little bit. Like we both are read some indie stuff already, but we
Yeah.
just wanted to be like, you know what? The big two get enough money from us.
Yep.
We should invest in these stories that are not attached to properties that are just people that love things that want to give you a good story. So
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. That's
so
cool.
now I have a reason to read more Marvel. So
There you go. Yeah. You want to
yeah.
let's kick things off here, Amanda. Let's talk about Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start off with maybe the credits in terms of what's going on
Yep.
in this issue here. So, this issue, Scarlet Witch, issue number 1 from 2023, woo, just came out last
Woo.
month or earlier this month. This is by writer Steve Orlando with art by Sarah Pichelli. Sarah Pichelli is an amazing artist, by the way.
Yeah.
We also have an inking assistant on this one, Elisabetta D'Amicio, and color artist Matthew Wilson. Also, of course, it's Matthew Wilson. These colors in this issue, freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Of course. Matthew Wilson is one of the best colorists in the industry right now. Letterer is VC's Corey Petit. And then we also have a cover artist, which is Russell Dodderman. We also have an abundance of variants for this issue because obviously it's a #1 and it's Scarlet Witch. So you got to get the variants in.
Exactly.
And for editing credits, we also have a production designer and illustrator, which is Anthony Gambino. Assistant editor is Caitlin Linvette. Editor is Alana Smith. And senior editor is Will Moss. And of course, editor-in-chief for Marvel right now is CB Cebulski. So,
okay.
yeah. Woo, Wanda.
Woo. Yeah, Wanda. So, yeah, again, I dove right into this issue. And right off the bat, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, Wanda is fighting. I don't know, it was a sea creature, right? This big, humongous sea creature, right?
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
feel
what
like
the
I don't
heck?
even know if I wrote his name right in my notes. So I'm just going to double check because I literally wrote these notes like from my mind.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so at the beginning, she's fighting. His name's like Dr. Hydro or something.
Yep.
Yeah, Dr. Hydro. I was right.
There it
Okay,
is.
great. I love
Yeah.
it. So yeah, Dr. Hydro right off the bat. Wanda's just jumping into a fight with him. And then from there, we basically go to Lock Hill, New York, which is where Wanda, it's revealed that she's opened up sort of a magic shop. And
Mhm.
she's basically, for the millionth time, trying to make amends for her past. Because for those who are not familiar with Wanda's story in the comics, she did a little bad thing where she basically made mutants kind of not exist. And it was not very cool. And she's been trying to make amends for that forever. So, still doing that. She creates a thing called the last door in her magic shop where people can come when they basically have no other options and they're at like their lowest points to get help.
Mhm.
There was also someone really cool in this comic. It was her first appearance.
Yeah.
My friend and yours, Darcy Lewis from the
Yeah.
MCU. And this is her first comic book appearance. So
Yeah,
very cool to see her here.
you'd mentioned that before we came on the air. Like, I didn't know this was her first appearance in a comic book. So this was a character from the MCU now in the comics, huh?
Yes. And we've had, I think, I don't know if Darcy's the first one to do that in terms of like an MCU original character that's jumped into the comics, but
Mhm.
Darcy is definitely one of my favorite like
Nice.
MCU originals. So I was very happy to see her here. Feels a little random though to me. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Darcy was in WandaVision,
Yeah.
but I was like, wow, I wouldn't have expected her to be like, yeah, I'm just over here doing some magic stuff, you know.
Right. Running the
I'm Darcy
store,
Lewis.
hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also see here, I've got it on the screen here. I'm pulling just a couple of images from the comic itself, folks. We have our friend Quicksilver, Pietro, in the house here. So that was cool to see. If again, someone for me that's just getting into WandaVision, getting into the character, it's nice to see. I mean, these are familiar faces even to me, someone that's new to this. So
Yeah.
and then and they get into a little adventure here. They get what was it? Someone
Jarnette, I think her name is. She comes
Jarnette.
through the last door, and she's
Right.
coming from Italy, and she's from a small town in Italy, and basically they've been attacked by this outsider who we will come to know as the Corruptor. And
There she is.
Wanda basically has to go to help them, which she does.
Yep.
And then there's a really good cliffhanger for this one. I don't know if I should say it. Should I say?
Yeah,
What the
I don't know. Do it. Yeah, it's
I don't know.
again.
Do we spoil it?
This is our first
People in
episode,
chat.
folks. So we're trying to figure things out here. So let us know what you think we should be doing. Should we spoil
You want
be spoiling this
spoilers?
stuff? Yeah, maybe we should.
It's a really
Let's
good
not.
ending, though.
Yeah, it is a great ending. I think so. We can always, in a couple of weeks, we'll come back and say, "Hey, that ending wasn't that great. This is what happened." So for now, we'll do a cliffhanger of our own. How about that, Amanda?
Yeah, we'll leave it for now. But if
Okay.
you guys want to know the spoilers, let us know in chat.
Yes.
And we can spoil it for you if you want. But otherwise, we won't get into some of these cliffhanger endings because I feel like they are. Don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it, Legends says. Okay, Legends.
Okay,
All right.
no worries.
Legends also says his favorite
about the issue.
Yeah. Legends also says their favorite character in Marvel United and Marvel Snap is Scarlet Witch. Very cool.
Oh, yeah, she's super cool. And especially if you're building like like a chaos deck. Like I really
Mhm.
want to create like a random BS deck where I just have a bunch of stuff go off that does weird things. And
Ah,
Wanda is going to be like one of my key elements for that deck that I'm slowly crafting right now. So
nice.
I love Wanda in a deck. She just mixes things up. She's fun to play.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, I got into a little Marvel Snap, and then I was into it for a while, but I have stopped for now. But who knows? Maybe I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up again. We
The
shall
nice
see.
thing is you can always pick it up again because it's so easy
Yep.
to just jump into. Like
Yeah.
it's a snap, Marvel Snap.
It is a snap. Nice. All right. So that's Scarlet Witch #1, folks. Now we're going to move on to the next comic. And this one, I was super excited to read this one. I mean, look what we're wearing, friends. Again, if you're on YouTube, we're recording this live. We've got our Star Wars gear on because Star Wars Yoda, I didn't know that they gave him his own comic book. Is this, they've had it, they've done Yoda runs before, have they not? Or do you know?
I don't know if they've done. So here's the thing. For me, also Star Wars comics are kind of new ground. I haven't
Oh,
read a lot
okay.
of Star Wars comics, but I've wanted to.
Yeah.
My partner is a huge Star Wars fan. Like read the books, like
Yeah.
loves the movies, has read some of the comics. So
Nice.
yeah, I don't know. I'd have to ask. I'd probably phone a friend for that one. But
Yeah.
I would say I wouldn't be surprised if there's been some other stuff on Yoda, but
Hmm.
right now this is what we have. So I mean, right
Yeah.
now I think this is the only Yoda comic that we have, and I don't think
Yeah.
we've ever had something like this, which is like adventures into Yoda's past and him like
Yeah.
being on Dagobah and like reminiscing. I think that's such a
Yeah.
cool concept for a series.
It really is. I was when we were coming up with the idea for this show, friends, Amanda and I, we went back and forth trying to figure out what comics we'd read, and she had put Star Wars Yoda. I was like, yeah, that's top of my list right there. I definitely want to read this, and it lived up to everything I thought it would be so far. We've read I think 3 issues is 1 2 yeah. I think we're on the 3rd issue now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the 3rd issue, it just came out today, right? Was it that today?
The 3rd issue came out today. So,
Okay.
also some credits for this one. I think the credits are
Oh
pretty
yeah.
consistent.
Okay.
But for issue #1, we have the writer for this is Cavan Scott, which I'm not familiar with his work, their
Hmm.
work. So I do not. I'm very intrigued by this because I enjoyed this a lot. The
Hmm.
artist here is Nico Leon. And then we also have the color artist, which is Dono Sanchez Almara on colors. Letters are from VC's Joe Caramagna. And the cover artist here, I was actually surprised by. It's Phil Noto, and I love Phil Noto.
Okay.
And I didn't recognize that this was him, but I was like, no wonder I
Oh.
love these covers. I love everything Phil Noto does, so
Nice.
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
We have a couple variant artists. Designer here is Carlos Lau, and assistant editor is Mikey J. Basso, and associate editor is Danny Kazim, who's also done some editing for a few other comics I like. Another editor here, the main editor is Mark Panicia, and of course, editor in chief over at Marvel, which includes obviously Star Wars right now, is CB Cebulski. So
Yeah.
yeah, those are our
Awesome.
creds.
Yeah. So this is Yoda #1, friends, and this is Yoda, as Amanda was saying, present day on Dagobah, and here's a voice calling out through the Force, and which leads to adventures elsewhere. I'm trying to. Yeah, are we gonna spoil stuff? I mean, these are we are talking about 2 issues that have been out already for a little while.
I mean, I think it's cool for us to talk about issue 1 and issue 2 pretty extensively. And then for issue
Yeah.
3, we can keep it a little light. But the thing is with issue 3, friends, is that the first 3 issues are really kind of a complete story arc. So I will say to you, like, there's not going to be any, I wouldn't say there's any real major spoilers we'd be getting into. Because I think honestly, if you read this, part of the fun is reading the action as
Hmm.
well as some of the wisdom, of
Yeah.
course, that
Yeah.
Grandmaster Yoda leaves us with, which is what we all
Totally.
come for, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that wisdom, and that's what I loved about this because it really, and this I got to say this, folks. We took our notes before we coming on, and one of Amanda's notes was that she loves reading this because she can read, she hears Yoda's voice as she's reading his words. And I do the same thing. It's like it's
Right?
so ingrained in our consciousness, right?
It's so iconic, and there's not a
Yeah.
lot of characters like that you like have such a true voice where
Hmm.
you're just like, this is the voice and that's it. Like I already know the sound in my mind.
Yeah.
It's so powerful though because it's
Yeah.
so universal, I
Hmm.
guess.
Yeah.
Also, thank you, Legends. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks,
Also have fun at
Legends.
work.
Yeah.
Bye. We'll see you in a bit,
Bye.
hopefully. Um, but yeah, I 100% hear that. And yeah, Yoda's so great. I forgot how much I loved Yoda. There was a part in this comic where I just literally started to get emotional when
Yeah.
basically what's happening in this. Do you want to explain a little bit about sort of what's the premise? What's the
Yeah.
premise for Star Wars Yoda for people
Yeah.
out there that want to read?
Yeah, so I think the best way, this really reminded me a lot of, if you friends that are new to the Star Wars universe, if you've watched The Mandalorian, there's that one episode where
Yeah.
the Mandalorian takes well, at the time Baby Yoda, but we know its name's Grogu now. But they went to they were on a village on another planet, and they were sort of like protectors, right? They're protecting them against, the rebels, or I mean not the rebels, but the invaders who had the ATST. And so the Mandalorian and Grogu help protect them. And this is a little bit like that, where Yoda hears this call of distress and goes to this other planet, and the native people there are being attacked, and he helps them protect themselves. But in typical Yoda fashion, it's not just like, hey, I'm gonna get my lightsaber and help y'all. You're gonna have to learn how to protect yourselves as well. Like, yeah, Yoda's gonna, he does have the lightsaber, he does take care of some things, but ultimately he's trying to teach these people, hey, there's ways to fight without fighting, or there's ways to protect yourself without having to go to violence, basically. So
And I think with Yoda, the interesting thing that we learn, which I guess we maybe already knew, is
mhm.
like when Yoda comes to help you, it's kind of like he's going to teach you how to help yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to bring you the wisdom as opposed to like he's a great force user. He's an
Uh-huh.
amazing fighter, but
Yep.
he's like the trick is that you don't need to fight. Like that would be the ideal for me as Yoda.
Yep. Oh, totally. Yeah. And it was so perfect too, because you have the we're talking about the first two issues here, friends, and at the end of the second issue, there is that sort of like cliffhanger, like one of the characters he's helping out. Like, to me, I had shades of Anakin in episode 1, where Anakin slaughters some innocent Tusken
Yes.
Raiders. Now, this isn't that extreme, but it's still, you have that feeling like, oh, this young character might be going towards the dark side, and Yoda's like, no,
Well, it's
no.
like
Yeah.
anger overtakes
Yep.
this young character. His name is Bree, and
Yep.
he basically is just like angry. Like I mean, his
Mm,
people have had to deal with like constant attacks from this other race that they share the planet with, it seems. But
yeah.
they're the other race, which I think are called. I wrote it down. What are they
It was the
called? The
Scolvy
cult the Crucklons, who are more
Crucklon.
out
That's right.
in the sea that
Yeah.
raid basically these villages,
Yeah.
and the Sculvy, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
I
Scolvies and
think it's the
Crucklons.
Sculvy. Yeah. And so Bree is frustrated because he's like, our people, the Sculvy, are just like basically constantly being beaten down. And
Hmm.
he wants to strike out, but Yoda's like, that's not the way. Like, that's not going to fix anything.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it turns out that Yoda also ended up being pretty right about that, but that kind of comes into play in the third issue.
Right, right. And the third issue is the one that
Yeah.
just released today, friends. So we'll touch a little bit on that. Like, for me personally, I like the way they resolved everything, Amanda. I thought it was like the perfect way to resolve things.
It was perfect. And it's so interesting because I do feel like issue 1 and issue 2 with this story feel very like what happened in this issue. Like even when I was writing my summaries and sort of gathering my thoughts on this,
Hmm.
it was like Yoda goes to a planet.
Yeah.
Yoda tries to help the planet. And
Right.
then in the third issue, it's like, and then this happens. And these people realize this. And then Yoda comes back. And then all this stuff goes on. And I was like, wow, the
Yep.
third issue is like 1 and 2 are really setting it up so that the third issue could really touch on everything without it
Yep.
feeling too big. Because it still
Right.
feels like a good length,
Yep.
but it really makes everything else make sense. If that makes sense. Does
Yeah.
that
Oh
make
yeah.
sense?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Totally. And I think it's these have been really good, nice building blocks, right, for as they continue the series. I think they're on the right path, and I really enjoyed seeing. I'd like to see more of this, actually, and we touched on this through our notes, but the politics of the Jedi Council. You had the one character, I think it's Prati or whatever,
Rattray or something like
Pratre.
that, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're like, oh, they're not really. It seems they're trying to say, Yoda, don't do this and do this. you have responsibilities, and then Yoda's like, our responsibility is to helping people,
Is
not
this is what I'm
yeah,
doing. I'm doing our responsibility. That's also part
right,
of what we do.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I was so ready. And this didn't turn out, but at the beginning of this story, like one of the things I wrote in my notes was I was like, I bet Pra-Trey is going to be some sort of traitor because I
yeah,
didn't like the fact
yeah,
that this planet calls for help. So Bree creates sort of uses a device that he can like basically reach out into the
Mhm.
galaxy, and the High Council receive the signal and are basically like, these people need help. And then some of them are like Pra-Trey mainly is the one that's like, I don't know if we should go though, because like,
Yep,
shouldn't someone else be dealing with this? Is this really our job? And Yoda's
right,
like, of course it's our job. I'm gonna go.
yeah,
And then Pra-Trey's like, no, wait, you can't go. You're like the highest person here. And he's like,
mhm.
yeah, but someone's got to go. And I think I'm qualified. So see you guys later. And then
Yeah,
basically lives on this planet for, I think, years. The
yeah.
timeline was a little confusing to me, but I think it's supposed to be years.
Yeah, yeah, and I thought that was sort of interesting too because Yoda just takes off, and it's not like just a couple of months; it is years. But then he comes back, and then when the story picks up in issue 3, again, we won't give too much away, but the characters have grown. I mean, these are characters that they were children when Yoda came to help out. They're not children anymore in the 3rd issue. So time has
No.
passed. Yeah.
Time has passed and it's taken its toll sort of on everyone in this situation,
Yep.
Yoda included. Although I guess it's also interesting to think is like Yoda is such a long, like belongs to such a mysterious but also long living species, we know.
Right.
So it's interesting because I'm sure other people on the council too, like Pra-Trey is like, why is Yoda doing this? Like, he's spending so much time over there. I don't understand. But you
Yeah.
got to think for Yoda, although I'm sure he feels the passage of time fairly normally, he has a long life. So
Yeah.
he can like go somewhere for 5 years and be like, it's not that long,
Yeah.
like relative to
Exactly. Yeah. The guy's gonna live to 900 years. He's got some time.
yeah, he's like, what's the rush? We got time.
Awesome. Okay, and we've got another one to talk about, Amanda. Now, this one hits a sweet spot for me personally, and I know you too. It's comics and board games, friend. This is the Mysterium comic book, which I had no idea was a thing, but thanks to Amanda's great knowledge, she told me there's a comic book about Mysterium, the board game. I mean, how cool is that?
It's so cool. It's so cool. And
Yeah.
it does exist. I haven't found, I mean, we did find a site where you can pay to get access to it, and it's
Yep.
fairly affordable if you wanted to do it that way. But the only thing that I'm slightly bummed about is I haven't been able to find like an LCS near me that carries this.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we can get the other issues because I know all 3 issues of this are out now.
Right.
If you that are watching have some means of finding it, please let us know so that we
Yeah.
can also read along with you for the other 2 issues. But yeah, this first issue is called The Spectral Servant. It is written by Christina Blanche with artwork by Alexandria Monick, colors by Nicholas Michael, letters and production by Dave Lentz, and the project manager is Garrett Gunn with the business manager as Jacob Way. And this is, you said, this is by Oxeye Media,
Hmm.
which is also, I guess, Source Point Press, which do Mysterium, and there's also a Zombicide comic, but unfortunately we weren't able to get our hands on it
Yeah.
for this Words on Wednesday, but maybe the next one we'll be
Right.
able to take a peek into that because that's also
Definitely.
so cool.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
So, folks, if you haven't played Mysterium before, Mysterium is a board game based on. It's sort of like, I always call it like, it's sort of like Dixit, where you have these cards and you're trying to solve a mystery. Someone has been killed many, many years ago, and it's up to you. They're trying to talk through. They're the dead trying to
You're like
talk to you.
mediums trying to
Yeah.
reach out
Yeah.
through the veil to talk
And
to
what
them.
yeah, and
Very
one
cool.
player is that a dead person trying to tell you who killed them, but it's only through the use of cards, and you're trying to figure out the clues, and you have a certain number of rounds to do that. And what I liked, Amanda, they took that board game and just created a story around it, right? I thought it was
They
so
really
clever.
did.
Yeah.
And it's so rich. Like, it isn't
Yeah.
just like they created a story around it and they're like, whatever, there's some people, we take the cards, we just draw them in this comic. It's
Right.
like they literally took characters, created completely new characters to give the story a lot of depth. Because
Hmm.
at the beginning, you actually start with like the mystery
Hmm.
unfolding. But we're introduced to a whole cast of characters that basically are probably going to come into play in them solving the mystery because they
Right.
obviously are going sort of to solve a mystery that happened years ago. But all of the characters you meet there are so deep. Like there's so
Yeah.
much to them. They
Yeah.
have such yeah, they have like just like a depth to them which really makes them pop off the page, which I really
Yeah.
loved.
Agreed. Yeah. And
Um
so each one of them, they're spiritualists that, the crime had happened like 30 years before. And, the main
yeah.
character that we're seeing the story through the lens of is, we're trying to figure out, I think it was the grandson of one of the caretakers or something like that.
I think he's like the grandson of like what I think was the nanny
Oh, the
or
nanny.
like
Yeah.
someone that worked on in the house, I
Hmm.
think. So there was the count and the countess and their daughter, and it was their daughter's birthday, and there was an older woman there. And at first I thought she was part of the family, but then I was thinking,
Yeah.
oh, she might actually just be like someone that cares for their daughter and like helps them with
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So I think he's related to that older lady who I think is still alive and still lives in this house,
Yeah. And what's funny,
even
it's
though
got
the
that
count and
little.
countess have left.
Right, right. And it has that funny little excuse me, they have that funny little thing where like there's some knocking on the wall. Like, this is like 30 years later, same mansion, and there's knocking on the wall and people are like freaking out, and so they just decide, hey, we got to do like a séance or whatever. They call in these different spiritualists, which again in the board game it would be the different players, but it's neat because each one has their own type of spiritualism, and how they're going to reach out to the dead. And
Yeah,
what I
their
thought,
own idea.
yeah, their own style, right? Their own style of ghost busting, I guess. And what's neat, I thought, was how they, just like in the board game, they're looking at like paintings, and they know that the character, they're trying to
Yeah,
reach out to them through these paintings, right?
they're trying to like read through like what is the ghost trying to tell me, which is
Yeah.
just like what you do in Mysterium. Also the knocking too. I'm glad that you brought that up because
Yes.
in the game, if basically if you're playing as the ghost, people will try to guess as to like the murder weapons and like sort of what happened, and the way you answer them, because as the ghost you're not allowed to like communicate, and you're also supposed to be stoic, don't give
Yep.
anything away. So all you can do is I think it's you knock once for yes and then
Mhm.
twice for no,
Right.
and that's my favorite part of the game. It's so like spooky. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
my goodness.
and just reading this, I haven't played Mysterium in years. So the last time I played it, I think I finished second, and it was such a fun experience. But I just reading the comic book, Amanda, I was like, I need to play this again. It's been way too long since I
Right,
played Mysterium.
I
Yeah,
know. I
so
agree with
good.
you. I will also say I played I think Funko Games has a Rear Window game as well, which is kind of like Mysterium, and you're
Oh,
trying
okay.
to one of you plays as the director, and you're
Yeah.
trying to like get people to guess like what's going on in the apartment across the street, and everybody
Hmm.
else is like, looking through the binoculars to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
Mysterium and Rear Window is 100%. After I like read this, I was like, oh, I need to play these games again. They're so good. I love
Nice.
solving mysteries. And
Yeah.
also the atmosphere in this issue is just it's undeniable, especially in the colors. Like
Yeah.
the colors here by Nicholas Michael are gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's just really
Yeah.
creates a lot of depth to what you're looking at.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember you saying that, in our pre-discussion here, and as I'm just showing some pages again, folks, right through the comic book, you have a little taste of it, but yeah, the colors really, they are very atmospheric, and they do project that.
They're like literally cards out of the
Yeah, out of the game,
out
right?
of Mysterium is what it feels like.
I
He's like
love it.
looking at a picture of like what is that? Like a slingshot. He's like, what does it mean? The
Yeah, yeah,
slingshot.
and that's totally like playing the game. It's so cool.
It is.
All right. So
Oh my
that's
god.
Mysterium, folks. Those are the three of the comics we're talking about today. As we move forward with the show, we'll be talking about more. We'll be revisiting some of these as well. But if you're not already, please join the Discord. We have a Words on Wednesday channel set up in the Discord. You can talk about stuff, suggest things we could talk about, what you want to see, and we'll get to that. So thanks again for hanging out for the comic portion. Now we're going to move on because it's Words on Wednesday, Amanda. We've got comic books and we've got games as well. So I am so fired up about this. We are going to be playing, friends. You can play along with us if you have a copy at home. We're going to be playing For the People, I Love. And what that is, it's a journaling game about preparing food for the people you love by our friend Victoria Rogers. Now, what Amanda and I are doing, we've got our, you can use pencil and paper or, a Google Doc or whatever. What we're going to do is go through this and we'll see if we're going to get through it all today. Time is precious, so we don't want to say too long. But What we're going to do is answer some prompts, and we're going to come up with a little story here. And why don't I just, I'm
So
just going to start
excited.
reading some of the things here. So we have the first quote here. One cannot think well, love well, sleep well if one has not dined well. From Virginia Woolf, A Room of One's Own. And here's the whole point of the story here. So the point. Amanda, is it okay if I read some of this and I can pass it off to you
Please
if you don't
do.
mind? Okay,
Please
so
do.
the point: to gather people around a table and present to them a meal you have made yourself is an act of love. Those vegetables that you washed, peeled, chopped, and cooked are a love song to those close to you. The bread you mixed, kneaded, and baked is the care you feel for others bursting from your soul. To prepare food for others is to tell them that you care about their well-being and their continued existence. This joyful love and kindness is the heart of For the People I Love. And you want to take it to that next section, Amanda?
Yes, I will. It is. In this soloing journaling game, you will explore the emotions and motivations of preparing a meal for people you care for. You'll be provided with journaling prompts which seek to inspire love, kindness, and care for others.
Nice. I'm so
What do
into
we
this.
need?
Yeah. So, what you need, friends, to play For the People I Love requires only paper, a writing utensil, and a D4. If you prefer, a computer and word processor of your choice works just as well. And we have a quote from the famous James Beard: "Food is our common ground, a universal experience." And
So true.
yeah,
We
how
all
to
have
play.
to eat to live.
We have to, and I don't know, Amanda, are you a foodie? Michelle and I are big foodies. We love doing the foodie thing, and
I really love food. I will say. I think my favorite though is definitely when you make food with someone or for someone, or when someone
yeah,
makes food for you.
yeah.
Um, Other than that, I usually get very busy, and then it's like takes me. People have to make me sit to eat food, and I
Ah,
tend to be a very one a picky eater, and two like a very literally picky eater in the sense of like I will just pick at my food and then be like, okay, I'll come back to this,
oh,
unless it's like a whole experience. But that's when I love eating food, when it's a
yeah,
whole like let's all sit down and take a minute to enjoy each other's company. I think
yeah,
that's really magical.
yeah. Absolutely. Friends, how to play For the People I Love is played in 5 acts: creating the menu, gathering ingredients, preparing ingredients, cooking, and sharing. Each act presents you with prompts. These prompts set the scene based on which act you are in. Along with the prompts is a table with 4 options. These options narrow the scope of the prompts. Roll a d4 to decide which option you go with. The number of the die tells you which option to go with. Continue this process throughout all 5 acts until you have 5 scenes written. And again, we'll go as far as we can. I don't want to take too much of Amanda's time, but she's been very gracious with her time already. So we'll see how far we get. And folks, please join us at home and let us know in the Discord how your game came out. Um, I got to read this quote. I love this one because I've seen this at a restaurant before. It's from Cesar Chavez. It says, "If you really want to make a friend, go to someone's house and eat with them. The people who give you their food give you their heart." I
So true. I
love
literally when
that
I was
quote.
reading that quote, I was thinking of that and I was like, wow, yeah, some of my favorite people in the world are the people that when I come over are like instantly like, let me feed you, like let me make you something, like do you need anything to drink, like that are
Yeah,
attentive in that way to make sure that I'm taken care of and like fed and watered, and I'm like
yeah,
this is so true.
yeah.
Also, Branchlings is asking what it tells about them if they don't like cooking but they like baking. And I would say it tells me that
Oh.
you're like me because that is me. I like to cook with people. I like when people cook for me,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
otherwise I'm more of a baker myself.
Nice, nice.
So I'm
There's
with you.
something about baking. I love the smell of the home when you're baking. That's the house. It just fills up with all the smells. Like, oh, it's the best. Like one of my favorite things in the world when Michelle's making zucchini bread. Oh my goodness, the house
Ooh.
smells divine. It's so good. Yeah.
I
Okay.
love giving people baked goods too. That's so nice. It's like
Yeah.
people get so happy, and it's just like knowing that you brought someone some joy, or when someone like eats something that you've baked and they're like, this is like so good. It's
Yeah.
makes me
It's
feel
like
warm and fuzzy inside.
it really is. It's like the best like gift, giving of like I've taken the time to create this, using these ingredients. So yeah,
Mm,
folks, you better have some snacks ready because I'm already getting hungry just talking about this. Let's
I
get
know.
to creating the menu. Amanda, I'll pass it over to you if you don't mind.
Sure. So you've invited people over for a meal. What kind of meal have you invited them to? Is it a formal dinner, a casual dinner and game night? One of my favorites.
Yep.
Lunch, brunch? How do you feel about this meal and people who will sit around the table? What is the purpose of inviting these people in particular? What do you want your food to say to them? Will your menu be 1, adventurous, 2, safe, 3, focused, 4, I love this word, lush.
Ooh.
Why have you chosen this approach to the meal? What's on the menu?
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Wow. So, friends, let's roll that D4. Find out what we are. At least for you, I'm Amanda's got her cool dice. I've got the an app on Google that I just rolled a 2.
I rolled a
So,
3,
okay, I'm gonna be safe.
and I'm going to be focused.
Okay, focus.
It just
Interesting.
sounds like I'm baking already with my focus. That's me when I bake.
Yeah.
Very like leaned in.
Oh, so funny. Okay, so yeah, we're just let's I guess write out a
Now we
couple of
got to answer
things.
these questions.
Yeah,
Yeah. All
let's
right.
answer it,
Let's
folks.
see.
All right, cool.
I feel like I should have it like this.
And let
There
me
we go.
get my thing here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Focused.
And again, I think I don't know if it said it earlier, but if you don't want to roll the d4, pick one of them. You could pick one, and I'm sure you can go
Yeah.
off script as well. Friends and
Oh, sure.
watching this
I'm sure
chat.
you could find something else that inspires you if
Yeah,
none of these adjectives seem to fit with what you're thinking of.
yeah.
Hmm.
So obviously for me, the easy one, I would want to do a casual dinner and game night, but I'm gonna stay away from that one. I'm gonna try something different. Oh, formal dinner. Now, you know what? I do love me a good brunch. I'm a brunch guy. Okay. Soften your razors. A high soften razor. Mimi says, make all the food. Yeah. So here we go, friends. If you're just stopping in right now, what we're doing, we're playing For the People I Love. We are creating a menu for a meal. And I could share my screen, I think. I can put this over here. So as you can see here, oh, let me fix this. I am going to be doing, whoops, a safe brunch. Okay. So what you're seeing right now, folks, this is my Google Doc. I'm coming up with ideas now. The prompts were here. You invited people for a meal. What kind of meal you invited to, and what your menu is going to be like. So,
Okay. I think I answered all these questions.
oh wow,
Mm,
nice.
I don't know. Oh, I already answered that. Why? Why have I chosen?
Let's see. I'm going to say this is going to be sort of a reunion of sorts. This is a reunion of sorts. People who
Okay.
okay.
I'm gonna do it like this. Man. You know what? I feel like journaling RPGs are just like a good way to like write a book.
Oh yeah, right. Seriously.
Character creation to the nth
Yeah.
degree
Yeah.
makes me wonder what the whole story is.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me just want to write more.
Yeah, no, totally. I would love. This. Do you do that? It's every November. What was it? The November writing challenge or whatever. I forget what it is.
Yeah,
Nano.
the NaNoWriMo.
Yeah.
NaNoWriMo, I guess. I've
Right.
always said NaNoWriMo, and just recently last year I was questioning. I'm like, is it actually Remo because you're writing? It's the writing month, so it'd actually be like the Rimo, I guess.
Rimo. Yeah. Have you?
Rimo.
I've started it a few times, but I've only gotten to like maybe a week, and I've never really completed it.
I've never finished it. No.
Hmm.
We should do it together this year. We should try to do it in November and try to do something and
I
see
think
if
it'd
we
be
can like
awesome.
motivate each other
Yeah,
to do
that'd be
it. Yeah.
great. Okay, so I've just come
Yeah, I
up
want to
with a
do
couple
it.
of things here. I've chosen this meal. It's going to be a safe brunch because I want to spend quality time with my friends and family. This is a reunion of sorts. People who I have not seen in a while but have a long history with. These people mean a lot to me. So that's the sort of setting of what I have here.
Cool. I went with like a very similar thing, even though we kind of got two different prompts there.
Okay.
I said, so my menu will be focused. This
Hmm.
sounds like breakfast to me. I
Hmm.
feel nervous, but excited to serve breakfast to my new partner and their friends who have stayed
Hmm.
over after a party. I spent a lot of time preparing this meal with the hopes they'd crash so I can make these delicious breakfast quiches and pastries for them. I want my food to express love and show them how excited I am to care for them. I want them to feel safe. I have chosen this approach to the meal because I want to impress my guests and I want everything to be perfect for them. And I suppose perfect for me as well.
Wow, that's awesome, Amanda. Wow, that is terrific. Oh my gosh, was that in the? I had put a shared doc there. Was that in that one or?
Yeah, that's in the shared
Can I share
doc if
that?
you want to. Yeah,
If you don't mind me
go for
sharing,
it.
yeah. There,
I do
okay,
not
there it
mind
is,
at
folks.
all.
Look at this. Oh my goodness. Sounds like a breakfast for me. Oh my goodness. I love that. Feel nervous but excited. Yeah. Because, when you have that
Basically,
new
me every
partner.
time I actually make people breakfast. I feel, yeah, when you have a new partner, you know what I mean? And you get that
Yeah.
sense of like, oh, like this is maybe the first time I might be like making them like a meal after maybe like one of the first nights they've spent with me.
Yep.
And I was just like, and I actually myself, I do love making breakfast for people like
Yeah.
after nights where we've all like crashed somewhere. I
Yep.
love being like, let me make you breakfast in the morning.
Oh,
I
that's
love it.
so cool. Yeah. And I remember, I think of that feeling of, when you have a new partner or you just started dating or whatever, making them a meal is always a big thing. Like, I remember, I'm gonna, toot my own horn a little bit here. Like when Michelle and I started dating, one of the things I did was, I put together, I was like, she had never seen The Godfather, or she'd only seen it like many, many years ago. So I said, let's
Okay.
watch The Godfather and I'll make you an Italian dinner. So what I did, I made meatballs from scratch and spaghetti sauce, and we had spaghetti and meatballs and watched The Godfather and had such a great time. And I'm gonna say the meal came out really great, and we're now married, so it worked. I
So it worked
think.
out. I think that's so
um,
true. I feel like it's so telling actually when you are dating someone for like, it's like early on and someone wants to like make food for you and like puts a lot of time into it. I
yeah,
feel like that's always a good sign usually.
absolutely. And there's
It
Michelle
denotes
in
just like a
chat.
caring person. Oh
Yeah, there's
yeah.
Michelle in chat.
Yeah, Michelle,
One
there
go.
you go. She says it did win her over.
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
what's funny too now, like I should be cooking more, but Michelle does more of the cooking these days, and she's such a great cook. Like so many dishes. She actually just made last night. It's been cold lately here in California, and she made this broccoli cheese soup and put it in a sourdough bread bowl.
Oh.
Chef's kiss, so good. Yeah,
That sounds amazing.
yeah.
Also, it's been really cold. Actually, we're in the middle of a snowstorm right now here in Toronto.
Oh
It
my
was really
gosh.
bad today. Getting
Wow.
back from like my appointment in the afternoon was like
Yeah.
a whole journey. It
Oh
was
my
crazy. I
god.
was actually stuck at the subway and my partner had to come get me because I couldn't the buses just were not really
Oh
in
no.
existence. They were all packed and the all of the Ubers and Lyfts and taxis and everything just were not coming either. Like I waited 40 minutes for one to maybe
Oh my
even
gosh.
accept my ride and that didn't happen. So I was like,
Wow.
okay, well,
So was it
save me.
snowing the whole time or?
Yeah, it's been snowing since this afternoon.
Oh
So,
my
and it's supposed to
gosh.
snow
Okay.
till tomorrow morning. So, yeah, it's pretty
Wow.
bad.
So here I am complaining about the cold in California. I mean, I was out today,
I
I didn't have a jacket on. I just had my t-shirt on, like, but I was cold. It's like,
Well, I mean, also relative to what you usually have in California, I think it's
Yeah.
still fair for you to be like, it's cold here.
True.
But
True.
yes,
True.
your cold would be I'd be like, I'd be in California probably being like, let me put on my shorts, let me put on my
Yep.
crop top.
Totally.
But that's
Oh,
because we're dealing with this right now and it's
yeah.
terrible.
Different ideas of cold. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's move on now. We've created our menu. I didn't have any. I'm gonna go back after we're done and add a few more details, but we'll get
Love
through
it.
this as we go here. So we've got a quote from Guy Fieri: "Cooking is all about people. Food is maybe the only universal thing that really has the power to bring everyone together. No matter what culture, everywhere around the world, people eat together." Wow,
Yeah, so true.
that's
Guy
true.
Fieri just speaking truths here.
Yeah,
I
I would
agree.
not have guessed that from Guy Fieri, but that's pretty
I
cool.
mean, hey, he's got some wise thoughts, I think.
Yeah.
I do enjoy some Guy Fieri content. I will
I
not deny.
yeah, diners, drive-ins, and dine-ins or whatever. I forget what the name is, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so we've got another prompt here. So now that you have your guests and a menu, it is time to gather your ingredients. So we can roll the D4 and find out where we're going to get our ingredients from.
Sounds good.
I've rolled a 4, a shopping service.
Oh, I also rolled a 4. Also a shopping service. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see
Now,
how that goes for us because it might be different too.
yeah,
I
and
love
I'll
that.
tell you right now, I've never used a shopping service, so I'm going to have to put on my thinking cap here.
I've used a shopping service before a couple times.
Okay.
One was
Wait,
better than the other.
it's not Instacart, is it? Like I've used Instacart. Is that a
Yeah,
shopping
I
service?
think Instacart is a shopping
Okay.
service. I've
I thought
used Uber to order groceries before.
okay.
Theirs is
Okay.
like called I forget what theirs is called, but they have like a whole corner shop, I think. And then
Okay.
I've also pre-ordered groceries for pickup before
Okay.
from
Yeah, I've done
Walmart.
that. Yeah. I was thinking shopping service, like you just tell them, "Hey, I want brunch," and then they shop for you and bring a brunch over.
Ooh, I mean that would also work too. That's like HelloFresh does those. Don't
Oh,
they like send you the meals and then you just
yeah.
make it?
You just make it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Those are actually pretty good. We subscribed for
Are
that
they?
for a little while. Yeah, they're pretty
Ooh.
good. I was surprised,
Hmm.
but they're super expensive.
Oh yeah, well,
Yep.
fair enough.
Yeah.
They're putting in all the work of building the menu for you,
That's
so
the thing. Yeah. So some of the other prompts, folks. Why have you chosen to gather your ingredients in this manner? How does the produce feel in your hands? How does the produce smell? How do you go about choosing your produce? Did you forget something and have to go back or make a second order? So I don't think that applies to me unless like, well, yeah, I've been known to like forget things on my shopping orders. So
I don't know about you, but the one thing that I feel about shopping services is that the only thing that I don't like is like the dates and like you can't actually feel it until you
yep,
get it.
yep.
And then there are times when I've been like, I feel like I could have picked better than this person.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like yeah, like getting like an avocado or something. It's like this could have been a little not. This could have been a little squishier or less firm or yeah. I totally get that.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
especially with if you're like getting fruit or anything. I never order fruit anymore on those because I'm always
yeah,
disappointed. But then
yeah,
I'm also like, I mean, I don't know what they were picking from. Maybe everything there was just not great today. It's
yeah.
possible.
That's true.
Also, hi Amanda Panda.
Amanda Panda,
Hello.
hi. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Okay. How is this gonna go for me? And why do I want to make it go terribly for my character?
I know, that's what I'm thinking too.
Hmm. Are you typing away?
Yeah, I'm just throwing a bunch of stuff out there.
I love it. I love it. I always feel like I type really loud, so
I
apologies
I,
to anyone
I
that's
do too. Are you
listening to me.
muting yourself? Maybe I should mute myself when I
No, I'm not. No, I like hearing the typing. I think it's
Okay,
good.
cool.
If this is also in the podcast, this adds to the atmosphere.
Oh,
So
that's
people are
right.
here
Yeah,
with us.
a couple of writers in at work here.
Yeah, typing away. Hmm.
So here's something. Using a shopping service, I'm definitely asking for freshly squeezed juice because that's something I.
Nice. You're putting like in a special note. You're
Yeah,
like,
it's like
make sure
make
it's
this.
fresh.
Yeah, I want orange juice. I want pineapple juice. I want all the
Did
juices.
they follow your note?
We're gonna find out. I don't know if they're.
Oh
I'm gonna put it
man.
on the menu, and we're gonna find out.
Okay. I think I'm good.
Okay. I just jotted down a few things. So, the shopping service, the produce is fresh for the most part, but some of the items weren't what I would have selected. So, the bananas are overripe, but that means it's time to bake banana bread, or better yet, make banana pancakes. So, yeah, we're going to go with banana pancakes. And on the menu, I've got banana pancakes, bacon, sausage, potatoes, coffee, freshly squeezed juices, not just one. We're not just talking
Who
oranges. Yeah, I
says?
want a couple of them. And then Amanda, this is drawn from my own personal experience. I love fried rice in the morning for breakfast. Fried rice is one of my favorite, all-time favorite things in breakfast, and so fried rice is on the menu for sure at this brunch.
I like it.
Okay.
I I will say that I like that you've also added your menu. So you inspired me to add my
Okay.
menu to the bottom here of what I'm
All right.
making.
I'm gonna bring it on over
Um,
here.
all right. So I wrote for mine. I get my ingredients from a shopping service. I've chosen to gather my ingredients in this manner because I wanted to save time so I can make homemade pie crusts with the baking ingredients I already have at home.
Oh my
Everything
gosh.
felt strange but familiar in my hands. The ingredients smelled sweet and spicy with a touch of something light and airy. I had to go to the corner store to pick up my own eggs because the ones that I received in my order were expired.
Aha.
Bad news, the corner store was out. So
Oh
now I have
no.
pie crusts, but no eggs for the quiches. Hmm.
Oh, that's so good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Of course, I always have to make problems for my characters.
Yeah,
Nothing's
now
ever easy.
I'm legit worried about your character here. So quiches are
I
out.
know. Quiche might not be possible, but what else
Yeah.
can we do? We have pie
All right.
crusts and they're fresh. So we should do
Yeah.
something with those.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Let's move on to the next one. Gathering ingredients. So, oh, okay. This was part of the gathering
Oh, this
ingredients.
is more prompts.
Okay. If you ventured to a market or grocery store, was it
Oh, I love
busy?
this.
Oh, did you run into anyone you know? Did you talk to anyone?
So
Or if you
cute.
ordered from a shopping service, what did you do while you waited for your order to arrive? Did they get everything you wanted, or were there substitutions? Oh,
Yeah. So I mean, oh, the substitutions is a good thing because that does
yeah,
always happen every time I
yeah,
order from a shopping service. It's always
yeah,
on the thing, and then they're like, actually, they don't have this, but they have this. Like, I'll be like, I want this specific chocolate bar, and they'll be like, they don't
yep,
have those, but they have these other ones. Is that good? And
yeah,
I'm like, I don't know. Do I feel that other? Do I want that even?
right,
Is it worth it?
yeah,
But I guess I kind of answered the question of what I did while I waited because I
yeah.
said that I was making pie crusts. What do you think your character did while they waited?
I'm gonna say so. This is brunch, and my character is really excited to see friends and family, and is a little nervous, just like your character is a little nervous. So I'm gonna say, my character, I made myself A mimosa. Mimosa.
Nice. That'll calm
Okay.
you down.
Yeah, that'll calm me down. Take the edge off a little bit. So I made myself a
Yeah.
mimosa. All right.
Also, treat yourself while you're making food for other people. That's a
That's
good
what I'm
idea.
saying, right? Yeah.
I like it.
So let's go to preparing ingredients. You are in your kitchen. What does it look like? Is the room anything like your dream kitchen, or do you make do with
Ooh.
what you have? What are your kitchen tools like? Are they new, old? Did you inherit someone's cast-offs? Is there any emotional significance to your kitchen tools? And then we have a question or
How do we
time to
go
roll a
preparing
die.
the ingredients?
Yeah. So
Okay.
let's roll the die.
Let's see. How do we prepare our ingredients?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got another 4. This die is rolling really well for a
Okay.
D4.
Oh, okay. So
What'd
you're
you get?
prepared. I rolled a 1, so I'm prepping all
okay.
ingredients at once.
Wow.
Yeah, that sounds like a disaster.
That's gonna be a
when that
lot
happened.
because
Yeah,
you have a lot of stuff you're making for your breakfast or your
yeah.
brunch, and I'm doing all prepping ingredients by course. Okay.
Mm,
What are the courses here? I mean, maybe
yeah.
the courses. Now I have to think about what my courses are. Ooh. Okay. So some of the other prompts that we have here, friends, are which part of preparing ingredients brings you joy? What memories do you have associated with preparing ingredients? Do you listen to anything while you prep? What do you listen to? Music, podcasts, talk radio? And the next up will be cooking. So
Yeah.
here we go. This is getting epic. Also, Room 51 Live just rated us.
Room
What is
51. Thank you so
happening?
much for the raid, friends. Welcome.
Thank you so
This is
much.
Words on Wednesday. Thank you, Matthew and Justin. I appreciate it. Let us know what you've been up to. What you're watching right now is Words on Wednesday. I'm here with Amanda McKnight, the amazing Amanda McKnight, I should say. We're doing this every other Wednesday where we're talking about comic books and we're playing RPGs and all kinds of board games. What we're doing right now is playing For the People I Love. This is a solo journaling game where we take prompts and we're writing our little story here. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And thank you for joining us, friends.
I'm noticing as we keep going with this too, that like as the story continues, it's just like getting more and more. Like these prompts for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, my fingers are like fueled with
Yeah,
inspiration.
absolutely.
That's crazy. I know I wrote something else here, but where did it go?
Oh no.
I
I
got
want
too
to
many
say
ideas at once.
Once I had Andrew Scott, he says a bald Wookiee. How does that happen? You never know what's going to happen in the Star Wars universe, my friend.
So true. Anything's possible.
Exactly.
Okay. I think I'm
All right.
good.
Okay. Um. Yeah. Let's share.
Oh,
Let us share. So.
okay. What did you come up with?
Okay. Wow. You've come up with some great stuff, man. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm doing like the short version of this. I'll share mine real quick here to kick things off. So there is a disaster happening in my kitchen. I made
Oh
myself a
no.
mimosa. Turn on some brunch music. So I really enjoy listening to jazz. So some Miles Davis in
Nice.
the background. The kitchen is comfortable and well worn, well loved. It's the place most gatherings take place, with music coming from the other room. I'm throwing everything together at once: bacon and sausage sizzling, coffee percolating, and fried rice in the wok. There's an electric griddle on the counter heating up for the banana pancakes mix. But the smell of burnt toast is filling up the kitchen. I put down the mimosa and hurry over to the toaster. Thankfully, my guests are enjoying themselves. Conversation at every corner as people catch up on each other's lives and make plans to see each other more often.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So slightly a disaster, but also sounds like it's
Yeah.
coming together actually pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see what happens in your story, Amanda.
let's see what happens. I prep ingredients by course, but what are my courses? Now I'm worried that I don't have enough food, but then I think croissants and hot cocoa are a good place to start. And I still don't know what to do with these pie crusts. I don't have eggs. Hmm. Hmm. I listen to Mozart while I prep because it makes me feel fancy and like I have everything together. It distracts me from the lack of eggs. My kitchen is almost my dream kitchen. If only I could get the backsplash I've been dreaming of and that perfect mixer. My current mixer is a hand me down from my great aunt. It is red and clashes with everything else in my kitchen. But it reminds me of the strong, smart, and adventurous woman my aunt was, which is probably why I haven't replaced the mixer yet. Because although I do want that dream mixer, I covet this hand me down and the attachment it gives me to a woman who so inspires me, but is no longer with me on this earthly plane of existence. I love the feel of fresh dough in my hands and a flour gliding on my fingertips. Soft, safe, and yet very sticky. It makes me feel like I'm focused and in my elements. What am I making with these pie crusts, though? Still don't know.
Wow, this is so good, man. Like I sort of got choked up with the thing about the great aunt. I thought that's such a nice, lovely detail right there.
Oh,
The
thank
the
you.
red clashing with the kitchen, and then you have the strong, smart, adventurous woman she was. Oh, that's so good.
Ironically, as well, my kitchen is very much the theme of my kitchen is very red and black. Like I actually love
Okay.
those colors. But I was
Yeah.
like, I'm imagining for this character that she's like a person that loves like eggshell and cream and like maybe like a yolky color, and imagining her kitchen to be, I mean, something that I've always wanted to do with my kitchen, I'm not gonna lie, but like kind of
Yeah.
soft pastels or like primary sort of
Okay.
colors, but that are soft.
Nice.
So
Oh, that's so cool. I love the details that you're included are just been
thank
wonderful.
you. This is
Um,
inspiring me so much. Victoria did such a good job with this. I
Yeah,
love
this
this.
is so good. And you know what we're going to do, folks? We're going to call it a night there because we want you to come back in a couple of weeks. We're going to continue this adventure. We're going to continue this
Great.
game. And then we will also be talking about some new comic books. So we're going to sign off for now. So thanks again for watching here on YouTube. Don't forget, we record this live on Twitch every couple of weeks. So join us on Twitch. Don't forget to look at the show notes below, hit the like and subscribe button, and join our Discord to talk about more Words on Wednesday. And on behalf of Amanda, thank you for
Yay.
joining us. Have a good night. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.